History of the crochet granny square. The crochet granny square is a classic and iconic motif in the world of crochet, with its roots deep in traditional craftsmanship. Its distinctive pattern, consisting of a series of concentric rounds made with basic crochet stitches, has made it a beloved project for crocheters for centuries. Here's a detailed history of the crochet granny square. 1. Origins of crochet. To understand the history of the granny square, it's essential to first look at the broader history of crochet itself. While the exact origins of crochet are debated, many believe that the technique evolved in the 19th century in Europe. It is thought to have originated from earlier forms of lace making and embroidery, with some influences from tambour work, a type of embroidery that uses a hook to make chain stitches. By the early 19th century, crochet was a popular craft across Europe, especially in Ireland, where it became a livelihood for many families during the Great Famine. Irish women made intricate lacework to sell, which played a crucial role in popularizing the craft across Europe and beyond. 2. Emergence of the granny square. The specific pattern known as the granny square emerged in the 19th century, likely in the mid to late 1800s. During this period, the term granny square wasn't widely used, but the concept of creating small, square motifs to be joined together into larger projects was common. The technique of working in rounds and using clusters of stitches allowed for a modular approach to crochet, meaning crafters could create individual squares that could later be pieced together into blankets, garments, or other items. This modular design made the granny square an appealing option for using up scrap yarn, leading to the widespread belief that the term granny referred to older women using leftover yarn to create warm, practical items. 3. Victorian-era craftsmanship. The Victorian era saw a boom in domestic crafts, and crochet became a popular hobby among women. Many pattern books from the late 1800s featured squares similar to what we now call the granny square, though they may not have used the same terminology. These squares were often used to make decorative items like doilies, pillow covers, and tablecloths. During this time, the granny square also became a popular way to repurpose yarn scraps. The frugal nature of the pattern meant that leftover yarn from various projects could be crocheted into small squares, which could then be assembled into larger items like blankets. This helped the granny square become a symbol of resourcefulness, particularly among those who couldn't afford new yarn. 4. Popularity in the 20th century. The granny square became firmly established in the early 20th century as a beloved crochet motif. By this time, the term granny square was becoming more widely recognized, and pattern books from the 1920s and 1930s featured numerous variations on the basic square design. However, it was in the 1960s and 1970s that the granny square truly exploded in popularity, especially in the United States. During the counterculture movement, many people embraced crafts like crochet as a return to handmade, artisanal goods, rejecting mass-produced items. The granny square became a symbol of this movement, and colorful, eclectic afghans and garments made from granny squares became a common sight. Crochet artists began experimenting with new colors, shapes, and joining techniques. This era also saw the birth of many creative interpretations of the granny square, from variations in stitch patterns to using unusual materials like metallic yarns or fabric strips. 5. Resurgence in the 21st century. After its peak in the 1970s, the granny square gradually declined in popularity in the 1980s and 1990s, as crochet fell out of fashion for some time. However, like many crafts, it has experienced a resurgence in recent years, particularly with the rise of the DIY and slow fashion movements. The internet, particularly platforms like Etsy, Ravelry, Pinterest, and Instagram, has played a significant role in the granny square's comeback. Craft bloggers and social media influencers have shared new, modern patterns and color schemes, making the granny square relevant for a new generation of crocheters. This revival has also seen an increase in the use of eco-friendly and sustainable yarns and a return to the traditional values of thrift and resourcefulness. 6. Cultural significance. The crochet granny square holds cultural significance across various communities. In many families, crocheting afghans from granny squares is a tradition passed down through generations. These heirlooms often carry sentimental value, representing hours of labor and love. In addition, granny squares have become a symbol of creativity and personal expression. Their modular nature allows crocheters to mix and match colors, textures, and patterns in endless combinations, leading to unique and personalized projects. 7. The future of the granny square. Today, the granny square remains a versatile and beloved motif in the world of crochet. It has evolved to fit contemporary aesthetics, with modern interpretations including minimalist color schemes, the incorporation of different stitch techniques, and the use of granny squares in fashion items like cardigans, tops, and bags. The future of the granny square looks bright as more crocheters experiment with new designs and techniques. The pattern's inherent flexibility ensures that it will continue to inspire crafters for years to come, carrying on a tradition that spans generations. The crochet granny square, once a practical way to use up scrap yarn, has grown into an enduring symbol of craftsmanship, creativity, and community. Its long history reflects the evolution of crochet as both a practical craft and an art form, and its adaptability ensures it will remain a staple of the crochet world for many years to come.